Welcome to PintheQ Productions. If you are interested in the culture of the fire service and keeping tradition alive, you have come to the right place. Now sit back and relax with your brothers and sisters and enjoy the show. Be sure to like and subscribe on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. For more information on PintheQ Productions, visit www.pintheq.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back to PintheQ Podcast, and we are in Bridgeport, Pennsylvania, and we are at the Fast Rescue Solutions building or headquarters, right? The layer, kind of feels like a layer. I like it here. You'll probably know them more for the fast board, though, which we're going to talk about shortly. But before we go any further, why don't you tell everybody who you are?
So I'm Eric Allen. With Philadelphia Fire Department for going on 25 years now.
Nice.
Creator of the fast board. Been doing that for about 8 or 9 years now. We've been actively out there selling. We formed the company in 2015, started selling at the end of 2015, and
Well, people definitely know who you are, and they know what the fast board is, and we're definitely going to talk about that because it's awesome product, man. I mean,
I appreciate it.
A lot of good stuff coming from that too, which you're all going to find out shortly. What's on the horizon for Fast Rescue Solutions? It's a lot more than what you think, and you're kind of branching off, which is a cool thing. Before we get too far into the fast board and this awesome company that you got going here, why don't you bring me back to like some of those grassroots, about Eric? Like, how did this all start for you, bro? Like, how did the whole fire service thing start?
So, never really wanted to be a fireman. Never really thought about it when I was a kid. Went into the military, went in the Navy right out of, a year out of high school. Really wasn't doing much, wasn't going to go to college. Got in there, was on the USS Forrestal.
Awesome.
Got in there, when I got on board, the commanding officer in charge of me was like, hey, you're young, look like you're in good shape. Why don't you jump on the fire team?
No kidding.
So I was like, sure, man, whatever, something to do.
Right.
And it was awesome. It was like everybody was supportive. Everybody was like, hey, we want you to know your job. We want you to know our job. We're going to, run down the hallways and we're going to, go to the scene.
Did you think that maybe that's where that spark was ignited for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Once I saw that and got a taste of what was going on there, that's what I wanted to do coming out of the military. Philadelphia was my last duty station. Took the exam before I got out of the military.
Now, are you from Philly? You're from Pennsylvania?
No, originally I'm from Georgia.
Okay.
Left there went into the military on my 19th birthday.
No kidding.
Yep. Never lived there again. Like I said, Philly was my last duty station. Did well enough on the test. I knew I was going to get hired. Got in and, just really took advantage of everything I could.
Was it like culture shock for you, bro, coming from there to here?
No, I'd lived in a lot of cities. I'd always enjoyed living in cities.
Yeah.
I lived just outside of Atlanta, but spent a lot of time up in Atlanta doing, I was big into martial arts. So where I studied martial arts was down in the heart of Atlanta.
Nice.
And so I'd always been around the city and never had any problem with it. And, so I felt comfortable in the city all the time.
What was it like, bro, when you first got on the Philly Fire Department? I mean, it's a, world-class fire department, well-known, awesome reputation. What was it like for you starting there? I
feel really lucky for it, but I didn't know how lucky I was because I'd never really fought to, from a volunteer station or a small department to get to a big department. Over the years, especially once I started doing Fast Rescue Solutions and traveling around the country, traveling around the world, and seeing all these guys who had really, they were super committed to being in a big department or being really good at what they were doing, but being underfunded or being in a little department and just trying to scrape by or, doing the best they could.
Yeah.
That's when I really started noticing or recognizing that I was really lucky. I was super lucky to get on to, at the time when I came on, I think we were 5th largest department in the country. And having all that benefit
Right.
and really started becoming apparent.
And you're going to work. I mean, you guys are busy, so that's a pretty cool, nice entrance into the fire department.
Yep.
Do you have a better appreciation for the fire department now that you're doing this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, being able to get out there and just meeting this class of people, some of the finest people in the world, and I can say that with, I'm sure lots of people can say it, you're in the military, finest class of people, you're in law enforcement, you're finest class of people, but firemen,
it's like like-minded people. Right?
It is, but yeah, I mean, the thing that I love about it is 95% of the people inside the fire service want to see you do well.
Yes. 95%.
Yeah. I mean, there's always.
Oh yeah.
And it might be 90%. You got your 10% at the top. You got 10% at the bottom. You got your median.
Yep.
But I mean, people are in this because they love doing it.
Yeah, I totally agree, bro. And that's what makes the fire service so awesome. And that's why I love doing this, because I get to meet cats like you, and learn about how this all started for you and watching guys grow and stuff. It's neat to see the progression that you have. One thing I'll ask you about being in the fire department, especially in a place like Philly, tell me what that was like for you when you first got started, like working with different guys in the house, rotating, right? Mm-hmm. Learning new adventures and new people and all that. What's that culture like for you?
It was awesome. I met a lot of great people in the academy. Got the taste for that special operations. Once I got out, I went to a fairly slow fire station. But I was told, learn everything. Learn everything that you're...
Soak it in, right?
Yeah, soak it in. Yep. Don't put in a ticket until you know everything about everything in your house, your apparatus. Don't think you're special. Learn everything and continue learning. And that's what I did. I was a house mouse, man. I didn't learn just everything about the apparatus. I learned everything about the station. I went through every box. I went through every, old log book. I knew where all that stuff was. I took over the canteen. I took over the shirts. I took over the soda machine. I took over the house money. I took over, going and shopping. I learned all of it.
What an amazing, valuable lesson now, right? Looking back.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to have a better feel for what the department actually was, that I didn't take advantage of anything. Nobody special. Nobody hears anything special.
Right.
You come in, you earn your place.
Absolutely, man. It's a rite of passage.
Yep.
It definitely is, especially in the fire service, because you may be in the brotherhood, but you're really not in the brotherhood until the brothers in the firehouse say you are.
Yep.
And I think that goes everywhere you go. I believe that. That's good that you did all those things. Would you say now that, being a senior man in your house, I mean, are you telling these young guys and girls coming into fire service now, like, are you telling them those very things that you did?
Oh, absolutely. And that's really one of the good things, but it's also a bad thing, but really one of the good things about being in a special operations company. Everybody there has cut their teeth, man.
Yeah, they want to be there.
They want to be there.
Yeah.
They're always picking up. They're always looking for work. It's not, hey, we got to go and do this. Everybody they're already doing it.
Yeah.
And that gets lost somewhere out there, but it doesn't always, and as a senior man, which is just crazy to me that...
Right, bro? We just had this conversation off air, man. It's insane. Yeah.
First 10 years on the job, I thought my kid was, my name was,
kid,
hey, kid, slow down. I thought that was my name. Yeah. And then
That's
all
awesome.
of a sudden, I'm the senior guy.
Yeah.
And, I'm still...
Talk about that transition a little bit, bro, about, like, these guys and girls watching right now. Explain that transition from being a grunt and now you're a senior man. Like, how hard is that?
It was really strange for me. And I didn't even know it happened until...
because it just happens.
It just happened all of a sudden. And really what happened is two senior officers that I had worked for as a firefighter had left the department and were coming back and teaching inside the department now.
Right.
And they were teaching, and they kept referring back to me. I'm sitting in the back of the room, but they kept talking to me the whole time. And I'm like, why are these? I mean, they would pick on me anyway, just because they could. But I started looking around the room, and I'm like, wait a minute. They probably don't know a whole lot of people in the room. And then I'm looking around, I'm like, oh, shit, I am the senior man in the room other than my officer who was about to retire. And I was like, oh, what just happened? You know?
But really what they're doing is they were looking for you like, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly what I'm saying. It's like you're reaffirming everything because they're looking at you because I know you've been in the shit.
Yeah. And
you know,
it was
awesome.
It was definitely a wake-up moment. It's like, holy shit, man, you know. Everybody's looking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. And everyone's looking your entire career, bro. That's just just the
and
way
then
it is.
you start working on a job or something, and you're taking that guy and you're like, hey, come here, let me show you what this is how you do this, or this is how you open this roof a little better, and this is what you're looking for, and then all of a sudden those guys are looking for you. Hey, man, I'm having a problem here.
Right.
And you're like, cool, man, here, we'll do this, and this, and you know. Being on a special operations company as a new guy, and then watching guys who were senior saying, hey, man, we're nothing special. When we go and do this work, whatever it is we do, other guys are going to get upset about it, but this is how you fix it. You go back and you grab them and say, hey, this is the reason why I did it. This is the reason why we cut that car the way that we did.
Right.
And we're not taking work away from you. We want to give you that knowledge also. You might not be over here, but we might not be there that day when you're there helping.
I think that's one of the, I wouldn't say biggest changes in the fire service, or at least in the culture that I've noticed, that back in the day it was more of like, do what I say, kid, and this is why you do it this way. Because back in the day, bro, we didn't ask any questions. We were just, you told me to do it, I did it. That was it. And maybe later on I kind of found out why, but it didn't come easy. I think today, one of the differences I see, especially because I see myself doing it as a mentor myself, like I'll grab guys and be like, we have to do this and this is why. Because I feel like the generation of dudes and girls right now are a little different. And I think they want to know a little bit more. They want more information. You know, it's more than just, I mean, it's different if you're under fire situations and you got to be like, yo, take this and do this now. It's different. But what I'm starting to see is a lot of people in the generation coming up, they really need to know more. They want to know more.
Yeah.
And I think it's incumbent upon us to do that. Like, I feel like we should be doing that, you know, giving as much information we can under the right circumstances, of course.
Absolutely.
I mean, do you think the debrief for you is important?
The what?
The debrief.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I think that just keeps that relationship clean.
Yeah.
I mean, the new generation coming up, you know, they want to know why. Mm-hmm. And the old generation going out who were holding on to all of that knowledge, you know, maybe they weren't as right as they thought they were. Mm-hmm. Just like the young generation, they're probably not as right as what they think they are either. So there is a bridge between that.
There is.
And
difficult balance, man.
It is. It's a super difficult balance. But I want to give that knowledge, just for the fact that if I didn't give that knowledge and it slowed them down or it hurt somebody else, and I could have made it a little better out there for somebody else, then
I think it's...
And I didn't, then I don't sleep well.
I agree with you, bro. And the reason I do is because I think that guys that keep all this knowledge and take it with them and don't give it away, that sucks, man. Yeah. You know, and you realize, you know, you want to leave a legacy of like, that was the guy that helped me. That was the guy that taught me this, this, and this before you went out the door. Like, that's what I aspire to be, you know. And obviously by talking to you, that's very important to you too, bro, which is honorable because, you know, working in Philly Fire Department, bro, that's an accomplishment. You know, it's a world-class fire department, bro.
Yeah, you know very blessed to be with the Philly Fire Department.
One of the questions I love asking senior guys, bro, and maybe I'm a little biased because I like talking to the senior guys the most, but tell these guys that are watching right now, what does the kitchen table mean to you at the firehouse?
Well, the kitchen table is, you know, where we come together to be a family. And communication is always the biggest thing. And if we're sitting at that kitchen table and we're just relaxing with each other, well, you need that. Mm-hmm. But the kitchen table is where we come and we talk about what just happened. We talk about our goods and our bads. We expose ourselves there. Hey, man, I fucked up on this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't come to the table and do that, then how can you come to the table and be like, I fucking rock the world? No, it's where we come and we're like, lay it all out and open. Hey, man, you didn't do a great job this thing. This is where I saw you fucked up. Hey, and by the way, I did too. Or, you know, today I had it and you didn't.
Right.
Or you had it and I didn't. Let's fucking clean that up.
You think that's where those bonds are created, bro?
Absolutely. I mean, just like they're created, crawling down that hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that, you know, I don't have to turn around is always the thing for me.
And if you turn around, are they still there?
Yeah. Well, that's where it is. I mean, if you're working at a good company, you don't have to turn around.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's there. I know she's there.
Bro, that's like, you know, at work when I'm in the front seat and I look back over my left shoulder and into the back seat, you know, and I look back into that cab, I know everybody's on point. Mm-hmm. You know, so I know when I get off the rig that those guys are behind me, 100%. And that's what you're talking about. And that is, you know, you almost can't put a price on that.
Yeah. It's really just knowing who you're with.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes knowing who you're with is knowing their limitations. And,
absolutely, yeah.
You know, I don't have to beat up somebody because they have limitations. I just have to know their limitations. And I know how to fill that gap, either myself or who to plug in. And all that comes with experience, you know. Not everybody is, you know, the fastest runner or the smartest rope rigger or, you know, the high-speed ladder guy. You got to know that, you know. There's tens and twos in everything that we do. And you might not be working with the tens all the time. You might not be working with the twos all the time. So you got to judge who you're with and know what to expect when you're stepping out.
Yeah.
Stepping off.
Absolutely. So now Philly's structure, how does it work? You start an engine company like other places and you work your way to the ladder and then vice versa. How does it work there?
You can get assigned to either coming out of the academy.
Oh, really?
Yep. Okay. When you're in the academy, they're taking a look. They're kind of to match you up where is the better place for you to go. When I was coming through the academy, big guys went to the ladders and little guys went to the engines. And, you know, I'm fine with that. But I think, I mean, for me, I think everybody should know how to do both, you know.
Right.
And I think now they're cycling guys through different areas. You spend some time in an engine, you spend some time in a ladder, and then you're getting your assignment. But I don't know exactly how it all works right now because I've been isolated inside the special operations, and we get very isolated. We're wrapped up in our world. We got all our stuff to take care of, so we lose track of some of those things.
You remember your first job?
Yeah, I remember the first job I went to, and I remember the first interior job that I went to.
Tell me about that first job.
So, first, you know, big job that I went to was a warehouse, and we were, you know, a mile away, and you know, a column 300 feet up in the air, and this place is just ripping to hell, and you're not doing anything, but it was all excited, you know.
Right.
Set up a Stang gun at the time, and we were playing a line off of the highway onto this warehouse that it wasn't going anywhere. We were just isolated. First interior job, I was a shit show, man. I'll tell you right now, you know, I was pushing too hard or didn't, you know, couldn't hear anything. I didn't, you know.
Yeah, it's like sensory overload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I think everybody gets that. You know?
Absolutely.
You know, and I have no problem saying it. I was a shit show, man.
Yeah.
You're
supposed to be.
Yeah, I was making problems all over the place. But, you know, luckily, good officers, good guys, you know, take me by the back of my fucking coat and was like, hey, man.
Yeah, this way.
Slow down. Go that way.
Yeah, frost in a bottle and all.
So, and then, you know, I remember the first, like, good job I had. And I had, at the first station I was there for right around a year. Never had any real good work there. Moved to another house. Got a lot of good work there.
Nice.
And I remember, you know, I had a really good crew. I had guys who really kind of took me in and showed me and slowed me down. And the first real good job, I'm going in, I got the tip, and the front door, and there's a little foyer, and then there's another door, and we push in there, and the guy behind me grabs me by the coat, and he's like, wait, and this place is fucking ripping, man.
Yeah, nice, off the races.
Oh, yeah, it's all over the place, and he's like, just wait. And I'm like, what? And he goes, look at it. And I was like, what? He's like, look at it. And I look back in the room, and everything's on fire. I can see like the couch completely outlined in fire, and the walls and the chairs and the floor, and everything's on fire. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Like, actually take that in, man.
Yeah. And he's like, now put it the fuck out.
Dude, that is awesome, bro. Those are awesome memories, man. And like, you know, there's people literally in the fire service that may never even see that. You know, it's crazy depending where you're at, you know. Yeah. But that's awesome you remember that. And that's why I asked, because it's funny, people always remember their first jobs, man. You know what I mean? And some will tell you, yeah, it was a water flow alarm. All right, whatever. If that was your first job, it was your first job. But you know, it's cool, man. What advice would you give somebody watching right now, bro, that's looking to get involved in the fire service? What do you say to them? What do you say to that new kid coming in?
I would give them the same advice that my father gave to me when I was stepping out the door, man. And he said, whatever you choose to do, learn everything you can about that. Learn the ins and outs, the ups and downs. Don't just learn the surface. Dig deep, dive hard into it. Don't ever think that you're more than what you are. Earn that place.
Yeah.
You know, there's, for me, anybody who steps up and say I deserve, there's a problem. Mm-hmm. You know, you should earn it, and never have to say that I've earned it.
You're absolutely right. Others should be saying that cat right there, he earned it. He got where he gets because he worked for it. He worked hard for it. You're right. We should never be the ones saying, well, that whole entitlement thing is a big problem for me, man. You know what I mean? And we start to see more and more of that, unfortunately, but that advice right there you just gave is solid advice, bro. And your father obviously gave great advice to you, because that's the path you went down. And you already told me that with your first house, when you learned everything about that house and got involved in everything that was going on, including the canteen. I mean, most guys, you have to tell them to do that. You just did it.
Yep.
You know, so that's good advice. Now, obviously from your background in the fire department, you know, at Philly, not coming from any other station, so you're Philly blood now, right? And this is the one thing I'll say about the Philly Fire Department is that you guys are aggressive.
We are
very aggressive interior fire department, and that's obviously why I'm impressed by that, because I believe very heavily in interior firefighting, and that's something I watch a million videos and photos and stuff, you know, fires in Philly, and you guys just go get it. You go get it, and that means something, you know. That's a good thing. Tell me about, for you anyway, what that reputation means to you about being a Philly fireman.
It's a good thing. I mean, we are aggressive fire department. We definitely push to the point. You know, we have to. I mean, when you got a row home, you've got common cockloffs, you got old construction. If you are not pushing in there and getting to the seat of it, it's gonna chase you instead of you chasing it. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, I mean, when I came in, there were rules and guidelines that were hard and fast. You know, don't put water on smoke. You'll push fire by playing a hose stream in a window. And then a lot of that stuff got kind of disproved by science. And we're still aggressive, and we're also, just like any fire department, you know, we lock onto things. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Well, why? Why can't we do it like this? Because we've always done it like this. And, I had some really good officers that, they were old guys, but they were like, I fucking hate that. I hate that term, because it doesn't allow you to learn something else.
And for senior guys that think like that, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, there's There's cats out there that don't believe that.
Yep.
Like you just said, it's our way. We've done this way, and we're never going to change.
Yeah. And I think I was, I've been on for 25 years, and I think I was at the beginning of that why generation. Why are we doing it that way? I'll go do it because you said to.
Oh yeah.
But why? Give me some more. Give me some meat.
Yeah, well, you're hungry.
Yeah, let me know more.
Yeah.
It was never, I don't believe what you're saying. It's like, but I want to know why you're telling me to do it that way. And because we've always done it that way doesn't tell me anything.
Right.
It just tells me, shut up and go fucking do it.
Right.
So I started getting into the science of it. Why are we doing this? Why is it right or why is it wrong? How did it get disproved? Where is the science maybe not taking in everything that is actually going on, Yeah, you can burn a house inside of a warehouse and you can film it and you can do all the temperature things, but you're not running a row home.
Right.
You're not you got a perfectly built house inside of a warehouse that you set fire to with whatever. You're not looking at a 100-year-old timber that's been burned 3 times and then patched over.
That's a good point.
Or, the beams have been cut to, run gas lines or. So you can't trust one thing or the other. You need to look at those old guys saying, go do it like this, because this is how we've survived. And then you have to look at the science and go, hey, you're missing something over here. And then you got to be able to marry the two of them. You have to be able to think.
Absolutely.
Because everything's changing. The materials inside of houses are changing. The houses are changing. The
construction's huge, bro. So different.
Construction's changing. The way things burn, what's burning, the temperatures they're burning at.
Yeah, 2x4 is not really a 2x4. I mean, it's insane. Yeah.
And then it's also our gear. I mean, our gear is changing. We can get so much farther into the fire before we start feeling any heat coming through it. And when the heat starts coming through it, we're in trouble.
Yep.
And if you don't know how to gauge that, hey, man, I might be too far in before you start feeling it through your gear, then that's a problem.
I noticed that for me because, back when I started, 90 and 91, really, the first hood I got was in 91. It was so thin, but now the hoods we have, they're so thick and they absorb a lot more heat. So you don't realize, that your borks are melted away before you're feeling your heat in your ears. It's insane. Yeah.
And just like that, the new and the old, I had an old guy who said, yeah, I'll wear my hood, but I always pull it back a little bit on one side. So I get that skin, and he had a scar on his neck. He's like, so I get that piece of skin right there exposed. So if my gear is taking more heat than what I should really be doing, that's going to tell me.
It's going to tell you quick, too.
Yeah, it's going to tell you quick. Hey, well, wait a minute. It's really freaking hot in here. Let's check out what's going on. And I've always done that. I've always pulled my hood back or pulled, my sleeve back a little bit and left a little skin exposed and said, hey, if I get a little burn, I'm cool with that. I don't have to go turn that in. But I'm going to know when something's going bad a little faster.
Bro, those tips and tricks we're talking about right now, that's what this new generation doesn't know yet. That's what's so cool about the show is they get to watch this. I'm like, oh, yeah, and they may have heard this stuff, but when you actually hear the stories, it's nice. It kind of gives them better perspective. So, brother, tell me about this company, man. How the hell did this all start for you?
So, again, I was really, really fortunate. Maybe I earned it. Maybe I just tripped over it or whatever. But when I got in and I started learning everything in my house, then I went to Rescue One, and I'm like, hey, guys, can I just ride around in your house now?
Yeah.
And I was lucky. I got to know some guys, and I got into the first formal SOC course in Philadelphia that they were giving.
Very nice.
And I was a little bit of a rope nerd, and then I got to teach the next 3 classes.
Wow.
I got in as an adjunct instructor for 2 of them. I got kind of pushed into a, full instructor-ish role. And, one of the tough things was, or just a ball-busting thing, was moving a firefighter up a flight of stairs. Mm-hmm. And I weigh about 155. And I used to, and that's what I was teaching. Hey, let's move this 200 and whatever.
With a pack.
With
shit in their pockets.
Yeah, guy up this flight of steps. So I was teaching it, and when it got taught to me, the instructors said, hey, this is what we've got. Let's get it done. Okay. And then I started teaching it. And then I said, hey, this is what we got. I'm going to show you the best way we can do it. I'm going to show you that at 155 pounds, I can get it done. You're bigger than me. You should be able to get it done just as faster. And if you think you can come up with something better, then you come up with something better. That's what was told to me. We tried. We didn't come up with anything better. And we started telling it to the next class and the next class. And finally, the third time that I said it, I backed up and I was like, shouldn't be telling these guys to come up with something better. We should be coming up with something better. So I grabbed a couple of the instructors and I said, hey, man, I think we can come up with something better. Guys were like, yeah, we probably can. And all right, cool, man. Let's get together next week. We'll start working on it. Just playing around, see if we can figure something out. Well, life happens, kids, school, sports. Nobody ever showed up, but I bit, and I couldn't put it down. And I just started breaking it down piece by piece. What's the problem? Where does the problem happen when you're moving a firefighter up a flight of steps? Friction. Yeah, moving them to it.
Yep.
Snag hazards.
Yep.
You're moving a bag of meat or a bag of chain.
That's what it is, bro. Dead weight, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you're moving a bag of meat or a bag of chain, it just wants to melt into every crevice. So just started isolating each of those points and saying, okay, how do I fix that? How do I fix that? How do I fix that? And I just started playing with it. And really fortunate, would get a little something, I'd take it back to my guys or take it to another platoon at my firehouse, and I'd show it to them and I'd be like, just don't make me right, make me wrong. Tell me where it doesn't work. And I'd give it to them, and they'd come back and be like, this worked okay and this sucked. Okay, well, I'll go fix that. And literally it started with popsicle sticks and tool dip, and just how can we make things better? And being really steeped in that rope rescue and understanding by being fortunate enough to teach rope rescue is that, rope rescue is a monster. It's its own monster, and I love it. I mean, I love it. I love teaching it. I love doing it.
You're the minority. You know that, because most people look at ropes and they get terrified.
Yeah. But what it does is it slows everything down. I mean, rope rescue is a stacking of systems so that when we move our patient or ourselves or whoever, that there's no possibility for harm. Well, if the building's ripping to hell around you, we don't have time for that.
No.
We got to go right now, and you're coming with me, and what's the most efficient way of doing that? And so you have to give up some of those things. You have to give up some stability. You have to give up some safety. You have to not worry about if the guy's breathing. You show up and the guy's not breathing. What am I going to do about that in an ideal age?
Yeah.
Okay, he's not breathing. Am I going to top his bottle off? Is that going to start him breathing? No, it's not. If he's like, hey, man, give me some fucking air. Yeah, give me some air.
Yeah.
Oh, my legs hurt. Okay,
and he'll let you know.
Yeah. But if you show up and it's the worst possible scenario,
right.
He's not breathing. He's not responsive.
The rapid escape, man.
There's nothing we can do except for put them on the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. And we have to do that. And then I started really looking at the science of that. When does the body start dying? When does the brain start dying? How much time do we actually have? And, sudden cardiac arrest, why is it happening? What are we getting hit with? Is it just age? Is it physical condition? Is it environmental? It's all of that. We get a little cyanide, a little CO, and our ticker's not what it used to be because we've been doing this for 20 years. Boom, you go down with sudden cardiac arrest. I got to get that guy on the sidewalk. And I've got about 5 minutes to get it done before he starts really declining.
Right.
And so that's where we started basing all of our stuff on, is that we had to get it done in under 5 minutes.
This is passion, bro. This this is passion for you then.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
when I say I bit into it, man, I mean, I took a full bite and was
Yep.
like, let me learn everything. Let me run the canteen, run the shirts, run the soda machine, do this. It wasn't just, hey, I can do it better because I'm using Kevlar straps, or I've got a rope that has knots in it. No, we need to understand that we're doing it like this for a reason, and this is what the reason is. And you teach as much of that as you possibly can, because if I can't whip your ass with science, then why am I trying to whip your ass? If you tell me I've always done it this way and we've survived, great, awesome, good for you. If I got nothing to contend with that, then the conversation's over. But if I can go, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this study? What about this study? What about the Mayday Project? What about, Phoenix? What about New York? What about, this and this and this and this and all these problems they had? And all these pieces are showing us what the puzzle is. And if we take the time to back up and really start putting those things together, we can come up with something better. And that's really what I did, and I didn't do it to start a company. I did it for the guy standing next to me. That's really why I started doing this, is that, if I'm capable of doing a better job and I don't, then again, I don't die well. I don't sleep well.
Bro, what was it like for you when you saw your vision come to life, and when you actually got it dialed in, and you were able to put a firefighter on this thing and get them out of a situation fast? What was it like for you?
I remember the first time I had the first made board. It was sitting on the floor. I just brought it to the firehouse. I was going to start, and I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, wow, man, I've been working on this for a long time, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, shit, man. I'm going to have to feed this thing. I'm going to have to teach this thing. I'm going to have to support this thing. And then I get, terrified. I'm like, man, this is going to be a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, the first time that we actually, put a guy on and ripped him out of a basement, and guys were, ready to go right back in. I mean, if you've run RIT drills, you move that guy up a flight of stairs or through a house, you are smoked.
Done. Taxed.
But guys are getting done with that, and now they're turning around and be like, hey, let's get right back in there. Like, okay, it's something.
Right.
Really what got me there is once I had that finished piece, I went back to as many of the instructors that had taught me and put it in front of them, and by that point, we were friends. I had respected them all. I went to, like I said, as many of them as I could, but I put it down in front of them, and I showed them what I was doing, and I was like, no, I'm not looking for a friend. Kick me in the teeth.
Yeah.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
Yeah. You want to hear the real shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Break it. Tell me where I'm fucked up, because if I'm fucked up, tell me. I'll go make it better, or I'll stop doing it. And once I got to where, all of the ones that I took it to, I mean, and some of these guys are super high level guys, they would sit there and look at it for 30 minutes, not touch it, just sit there and look at it. And then they would call me over and ask me a question, and I would show them, and they'd be like, yeah. And then they would look at it again. And then they'd be like, yeah, I think you got everything. And once I got through those instructors, that's when I said, okay, it's not just me.
Yeah.
I'm not just proud of myself.
Right.
I'm not patting myself on the back.
It's like a baby,
Yeah.
It's like your baby, so you're always going to love it,
Yeah.
So it's good to see other people say, what do you think about this? Because they're going to tell you.
That's when I could start pushing it out there. And that was as scary as hell as it was,
Bro, do you ever think you'd be where you're at right now?
I don't even know where I am right now. Right now, I mean, we've been all over the place. I mean,
Yeah.
I when we go and do things, I say it to the guys all the time. It's like, look at how far this has taken us.
Yeah.
How far will it take us next?
When I first saw this, it was FDIC. I remember walking by, looking, stopping. This is no bullshit. It's a true story. I look back, what is that? And then when I went over there, and then in the booth, there's like, oh, check it out. it was like, holy shit, man, it can't be that easy. There's no way it could be that easy. Because I was those guys in the basement dragging people up the stairs, bro, using whatever we could. I mean, back in the day it was rope, but now, of course, it's webbing and all this other shit. But you start to see this used. And when Chris came in and showed us how it actually was used, it was like, I couldn't believe how awesome it was. And really how easy it was. Because, like you said earlier, in these dynamic situations and things are going bad around you and you don't have time to mess around. That's what's so awesome about this product. It's so fast. You don't think about it. You just do it.
Yeah. And all that is training too. I mean, there's no magic. You need to know how to teach it. You need to know how to learn it. You need to know you need to do it enough times so that it's not, I'm going to do it until I've got it right. I'm going to do it till I can't make a mistake doing it.
Right.
And that's what we push at it now is that, let's teaching methodology of getting it so you can get it done in any situation.
And we're not just doing, firefighting here too. Tell me about some of the new projects you're working on. You're branching out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, having a piece of equipment that, we're doing water rescue with it. We're doing ice rescue with it. We're doing hazmat, confined space. It fits right into rope rescue. And I have a background, like you said, in the martial arts, and I was, again, fortunate I was able to go in and teach some Tier 1 military operators with the martial arts and different things like that. So I have a little bit of a tactical background. So I said, hey, let's see about putting a ballistic shield on this thing. Let's make it so that our guys going in can have a little bit more protection, because now the lines are blurred between law enforcement, EMS, fire.
Absolutely. I never thought in a million years, man, that I would, be pricing out body armor for firefighters. I just never thought was never in my psyche. I would never think that.
Yeah. So putting a ballistic shield on there just gives us that much more support.
Yeah.
Now we can move in there. We can set up a perimeter or set up a guard. We can package somebody. The team can up armor. We can do asset protection movement, and then still do the same amount of packaging and pulling people out. And now we've pushed even a little farther on it, and we have we have this ballistic shield that we can go in, but you're like looking around it to see what's going on. And we got involved with a company, Aries Defense, that they've got some really cool stuff. So now we're putting a video monitor on the board. We're putting a camera on the board, so I can look at the video monitor and see what's on the other side. So now I don't have to look around it.
It's all real time.
Yep, all real time. But not only can I see what it is, if I'm running a stack, a dynamic entry, all the guys behind me, if they have, a video monitor, tactically positioned or whatever, they can see what's going on there.
And the CP also.
Yep. And now I can push that through a mesh network, through the radios that we can put on there. Now I can push it all the way back to the TOC or to the command center. And we can get real-time data for, how far that second team can push in or what's going on the other side of that board. We can track where the board is. We can, do a lot of stuff with it, a lot of cool stuff. We have a lighting system inside the board. We have a infrared lighting system, so if you're running nods, you can have unit recognition. So we're really trying to push this thing out there and get useful, good kit into good people's hands.
It's crazy when I, hear talking to you about listening to all this stuff, and looking around the shop. It's crazy to think that rudimentary start, that humble beginning, is taking you this far. Like, you really, really expanded this project for yourself. I mean, it's different.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else like this out there right now. It's
no. I mean, again, there are some quick grab pieces of equipment, and but I don't know of any.
Not like this.
I don't know any of them that can go from you can package somebody in 20 seconds and go from a horizontal drag to a vertical lift or lower without changing your setup. Certainly nothing out there it's going to have a lighting system in it.
Right.
That's an integral part of it. Or that you can go from confined space to water rescue in about 2 minutes. Or slap on a ballistic, and now you can go right into an active shooter scenario and
It's crazy.
offer some protection for your people. If you got a couple of them with several ballistic panels, now you got a moving wall. Mm-hmm. You're doing all types of tactical clearing and movement in on these situations.
You're talking about like less than 40 pounds.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you ever think this was going to take you to that part of it?
I always hoped that we would be able to cross that barrier, but again, when I started it was about helping the fire service. Right. It was about, because in Philadelphia, we've lost guys in basements. We have proved the national average of it taking 15 to 25 minutes to get a firefighter out of a basement. We proved it many times. And
were you at any of those jobs?
I was not in any of those jobs. I was kind of, when I first came on the job, Rising Southern Baptist Church was still very fresh.
Yep.
And it was the reason why some of the design was what it was.
That was my next question. Was some of that in your mindset? Like this is why I'm doing this.
Yep.
Yeah.
The space between the bottom of the stairs and the basement wall was 18 inches. My board is 18 inches wide.
And it's for that reason.
It's for that reason.
Yeah. See, that's awesome.
Yeah. Because I listened to those guys and said, "Hey, man, what was the problem?" And then just went to trying to make it better.
Did you find it was hard for them to talk about it, or did you see the opposite, that they wanted to talk about it to get as much information out as they could?
I think it was some of both.
Okay.
Some guys were better at talking about it. Some guys, they didn't want to talk about it, but when they started seeing this, they were better about it.
Right.
They were like,
now they saw your mission and what you're trying to do.
Yep.
Try to prevent that if we can.
Yeah.
Try to prevent that in the future.
And then some of them saying, huge compliment to me and what I've done is like, if we would have had that, it might have come out different. Yeah, it might have.
That's huge.
It might not have too, but still, just that they look at it and go, "Yeah, man."
The buy-in.
It's right there.
Yeah, that buy-in's huge.
Yeah.
Like we talk about, if you have buy-in from your brothers and sisters, man, that's it.
You can accomplish almost anything.
Absolutely. What would you say, for you anyway? What's your greatest accomplishment in all this, all that you're doing?
Oh,
tough question, I know.
That my children still know my name.
That's impressive. That is impressive, because I know this takes time, bro.
Yeah,
it takes time.
It's a lot of time. It has been a lot of effort. There's been so much. Just one of the greatest things that I see. Just like may be a trivial thing is when I would go and do demos, and truthfully, I don't go and do a lot of demos anymore. I just don't have time. I'm pushing things in too many different directions. But when I would go and do demos, I would see that guy who had his arms crossed, kind of looking at it sideways, another piece of, whatever, man, another thing. And about 2 minutes into my demo, they were leaned in. They were like, "Hey, man, do that again." Mm-hmm. And to see that shift. And one of the things that really got me was the first time somebody said, "Wow, that's a game changer." That really held a lot for me. Yeah. That somebody, and it wasn't like, it wasn't a new guy, and not that I have any problem with new guys or anything else, but it was an older guy. It was a guy who'd been there and done it, and it was like, that is a difference right there. Yeah. And that they saw that within 2 minutes of my demo, and were bought in after 2 minutes. That was huge to me. Yeah.
That's a huge thing. And the good thing that I'll tell you firsthand is that, when Chris came to us and did our demo, he was phenomenal, for one. Two, that happened. What you just said happened, right? So it was a mix of like young and older guys, but there were some people that did that, exactly that. Like, "Oh, it's another salesman coming to show us a new product, whatever. But at the end, after he left, they're like, that was awesome. Like, that thing is cool. Like, I can't believe it did this, or I can't believe how easy it was and the ease of use. And these are like the senior guys, these aren't the younger. The younger guys thought it was cool because it looked cool, because they don't understand because they've never done these types of things. But the guys that have literally pulled people out of basements or literally pulled people even down hallways, it's, you're gassed. You're completely gassed. So it's an awesome product. And I'm excited to see even more that it has in the future, because I know this isn't it. This is just the beginning. Yeah, it seems like got a lot going on here.
Yeah, we do, and
internationally too, bro. Talk about that, because that's
Yeah, we're in 9 countries in Europe. We're in Taiwan. We've got some really good partners in France. Current Fire Rescue got in touch with us. We've got a gentleman over there, Fabian.
Fabian.
And Cyril, they're running all these safety courses. They're basing a lot of it around the board. Taiwan is talking about building their RIT system around the board. They really didn't have a full RIT program. We're getting a lot of traction over there. We're getting states now that are coming to us and saying, we're going to make your system a standardized piece of equipment.
Awesome. That's awesome, man.
It's huge. I mean, sometimes it's really hard to hold on to. I mean, I feel like if I can just stay in front of the wave a little bit, Yeah. But,
because it's growing in popularity. And what's cool is people see it now, and instead they go, like me at FDIC, what is that? Now people know, it's a fastboard.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big shift for us. You know, the first time I went to FDIC, I was just totally doing guerrilla marketing. I had it in a bag. I would walk up and be like, hey, man, can I show you something? Open up the bag, look around, do it real quick. Be like, hey, man, if you want.
Because I can't afford that booth.
Yeah. And I'd put it back in the bag, and then I would walk away. And, the first couple of years, it was 80%. Hey, have you seen this? Hey, have you seen this? Hey, have you seen this? No. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? And now it's 50-50 or even better. That
you start to see people around your booth now.
Yeah. I mean, and we always had people around the booth, just like what you said, because it was something new.
Right.
But now people are coming back and are like, oh yeah, we got that, or yeah, we've seen that, or yeah, I've worked with that.
When Chris came to do the demo at our place, one of the guys who was from another fire company was like, oh, we have it and we love it. So it was good for him to say that. And, we didn't ask him to do that. He just came, we have it, we love it, we use it at our place. And then everyone's like, oh, really? You're using that? And so it's good.
And then you get somebody who walks up to you in the supermarket or something, and we're like, oh, you're the fast guy. I'm like, oh, man, what's going on here? Yeah.
You're like, yeah, of course I'm him. Yeah.
Hey, I'm standing.
You haven't seen my layer?
Come on, my girlfriend's right here. I mean, I'm not really the fast guy.
Yeah. Well, listen, before I let you off the hot seat, bro, I had you here for a while. What would you say for you? What's on the horizon for fast rescue solutions?
It's the same thing as always been. I mean, I'm always looking to make this thing better. I don't want to take away from what it is, because I think it is a good functional piece of kit in a lot of different rescue scenarios. It is not the do-all or be-all or fits every situation. I mean, RIT is a giant gorilla, man. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's hard to get your hands around it. And can it help? Sure.
It's fast. It's RIT. It's been changed a million times. It's ever-changing.
Does it work good in confined space? Yeah. I mean, I've proved that. Does it work good on ships? Yeah, it works great on ship and maritime rescue. Does it work well in ice and water? Yeah, it does. But we are evolving, getting into the electronics on the board, being able to track it. We're looking at putting, medical devices on it so that we can track biometrics, so that we can have integrated, medical information being pushed upstream, so that if we have somebody on it, now the doctor has all that information from the time it's touched the board to the time that they've gotten to the hospital.
That's awesome.
We're looking at making it lighter and stronger and different materials, and
At 40 pounds, it's already a game changer. Under 40 pounds.
And it's 40 pounds with the ballistic shield.
That's
on
what I
it.
mean. Yeah.
So
what's the weight of it without anything?
just the standard system is about 24 pounds.
Okay.
I just want to make it as useful as possible so that, as much good as it can do is that. And I'm always looking to make it, just shave that down just a little bit more. If I can get 2% more this month or this year and 2% next year and 2% the year after that, well, then all of a sudden we took a 25-minute rescue down to 2.5, and now we're doing it at 1 minute 45. It's a huge difference.
No, time is everything, bro.
Yeah.
Especially in this job.
Yeah. So whatever we can do to support the departments out there, the people who are out there doing it for everybody else, or putting themselves on the line, man. That's what we're all about.
Let people know how they can find you.
So fastrescuesolutions.com. You can get in touch with us, get on our website, info at Fast Rescue Solutions if you want to get some information. If this is the first time you're hearing about it, you want to look at it, go on our website. All our training videos are open source. We don't hold any of that back. We'll show you everything we got. It's right there for you. If you got any questions, when you call the phone number on there, it goes to my cell phone. I'm usually the one that's going to be picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, shit."
This is it's a really cool facility. It's impressive, but it's a mom and pop, which is even better.
We're a garage band.
Yeah, it's cool.
We're in the process of building out a training simulator for law enforcement and fire. So we're going to hopefully start running training about once a month here, free for whoever can get here.
Wow.
Hey man,
you're really giving back, man.
It's what we do, man.
Yeah.
And really, what that comes down to is one of the things I want to say. I mean, you were talking about Chris. Is whenever we bring on somebody new, one of the first lessons we give them is we don't sell. You don't sell this thing. All that I allow the guys do is show value. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't fit your need, if it's not valuable for you, don't buy this thing, man. I mean, one of the worst things I can think of is that it gets put in a closet somewhere and never gets taken out.
Bro, I swear to God, I was literally thinking that while you were saying, my mind's like, the worst he would ever want to do is see this thing in a corner somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, you never put baby in a corner.
Yeah. So we always want to present value. I mean, if we take more value out of a demonstration than we give, then we're doing something wrong. And that's what our business model is. We want to give that value. So.
Well, I think me personally, seeing this product, using this product myself, you've done just that. You created something that made it easy for firefighters to learn quickly, which I think is important. You don't have to overthink this thing. It's quick and it's dynamic. You can use it in these situations where you shouldn't be. So to have a product with you that you can use, and like you said, some of the things we kind of touched the surface on was ice rescue, water rescue, confined space. These are all things that are not even like things we talk about all the time. But and just in a few moments, like Chris showed us how you turn their board into a floating device, and he showed us rapidly how that happened. I was like, holy shit! Like that's how fast it happens. You think it'd be this whole you have to change them out. It's not interchangeable. It's interchangeable.
Yeah.
So, Eric, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Telling us a little bit about you, which I think was important that they know your background. It's not just like you said, you're not selling anything. You're just providing a product and letting people have their own options. Letting people have their own decisions on these things. So I appreciate coming on.
Absolutely,
I'm looking forward to seeing even more, man, because
man.
I know this is just the tip of the iceberg, and there's a lot more to come. Here we are, episode 38, and we did this one in Bridgeport, Pennsylvania, which wasn't too far. It was about an hour and a half. Chris stayed awake the entire ride, so that was a good thing. And you may be confused in this episode because we have two different Chris's here. We have your Chris, right, and then we have my Chris back there, who none of the lights fell today.
It's impressive.
He did a good job. Both lights are still there, so we're in good shape. All right, episode 39 is coming at you next, so be sure to check that out. And by all means, check out this awesome company and this awesome product, and we're going to be seeing a lot more of this.
Awesome.
All right, stay safe, be careful, and look out for each other.